Fresh Baked. We're at California Adventure to update you guys on what's going on around this side of the resort. We're going to go through every land, every attraction. We're going to look at the crowds. We're going to look at the queues. And we're going to talk about what's new in the parks. It's our State of DCA report. And I'll tell you what, first thing I want to talk about today, which is typical when we do the reports, but what a difference a season makes at the Disneyland Resort. For months, we've been talking about how slow things have been, both here and at Disneyland proper. It's been that way for a while. But as soon as they hit the bell on the Halloween season, we've seen things trigger up just a bit. Things are more, well, not just a bit, more than a little. And I'm definitely feeling that today as we walk down Buena Vista Street. You can definitely feel a sense of people showing up a little bit. Well, we'll get into the crowd or into the reservation system in our next State of Disneyland report. Let's just say it's a little bit harder, a little bit more competitive to get a reservation these days. Enchant and Imagine can make reservations, although there are still block-out dates, but they're not completely blocked out. The Halloween season has begun here at the Disneyland Resort and here at DCA, where it is particularly more festive on a regular basis. And people are showing up. They're here, they're ready to party, they're ready to get their Halloween on. We'll see how long that stays in effect. I had expected there to be definitely an uptick in attendance, an uptick in people showing up, but whether or not that's going to maintain itself through the entirety of the season. Such is the case with the local guests here at the Disneyland Resort, at DCA and at Disneyland. Such is the case where we tend to show up in mass for big events, for special occasions, as it were. And obviously the beginning of the Halloween season is one of those. Hi guys. But whether or not that remains to be the case, let's say 2 weeks from now, remains to be seen. But today we're going to walk around the park. We're just cruising our way around the Carthay Circle right now. We're going to walk our way through the park and take things in and give you guys our thoughts. There's lots to talk about here besides the Halloween season. There is lots to talk about as we navigate through California Adventure. We'll start by making our way down Hollywood Boulevard into Hollywood Land and the Hollywood backlot. You could see this. I mean, I'll have to look back at the last couple months of these State of DCA reports to see how this compares. I'm doing today's report on a Sunday, which has been the lightest day of the week historically for probably the past year or so. And so it's a Sunday afternoon. It's about 1 p.m. for reference, but this is certainly more guests than we've been seeing on Buena Vista Street in the past. Got a good sized queue of folks waiting over here to get probably a seasonal hot dog at Award Wieners. Red car trolley. I'm really starting to grow to love. There's our friends again. Hey guys, how's it going? Hello. Awesome. Love the red car. Hey guys, a lot of fans in there. All right, let's go to the back lot. We can talk about schmoozies, but I already did probably for a couple seconds in our last construction report. So watch that if you haven't already. I mean, there's not much going on there, but we did also talk for a minute about Stage 17. This will be closing in about 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks. This will be closing for we don't know what. Now, it's obviously connected to whatever's happening at Avengers Campus, where they're building the new gift shop, which is also opening in the middle of this month in a couple of weeks. The new gift shop at the Avengers HQ. Supposed to be the exit to the gift shop for the e-ticket that they still haven't built, and it's probably going to be another 10 years before they do. They're building that. At the same time they're going to open that, they're closing this one. So there's obviously a correlation. What that is, we still don't know. We don't have any idea. We don't know what they're going to put in there. We don't know if it, like I mentioned in a previous video about a certain chicken and the egg kind of situation, which came first. Do they want to put something else in here, so they had to close it, so they built the Avengers HQ gift shop? Or did they want to build the Avengers HQ gift shop first, so they decided, well, let's close this, and who knows what's going to happen in there. Time will tell. We'll see. Hopefully there's some news coming. One thing I don't think it is, I don't believe that this is going to be Avatar. People have asked if that's possible, but based on Iger's comments, he says we're a long way off. I feel like they don't even know what they're building yet. I'm almost certain that they don't even know what the Avatar experience is, and you have to know what it is first before you can start building it. Not to mention, we haven't seen any sort of leaks or information coming out about permits. Generally speaking, you can know that a thing is about to happen, about to be built by looking at the permit history for the city of Anaheim. There would need to be permits for all kinds of stuff going on there, but I haven't heard anything yet. I'll keep our eyes open for that, though. It's really quite terrible in there. It really is. I mean, I hope they got something good planned for that place, because that is not peak thematic experience, even if it is just a gift shop. It's a terrible looking gift shop. My goodness. Now, as we exit, normally this is the place where I complain about Monsters Inc. standby being too long. And it's 45 minutes right now, which is too long. So insert familiar complaint there. There's no reason for Monsters Inc. to be 45 minutes. It is a crime against humanity. Get rid of Genie Plus, or at least take this one off of the Light and Lane distribution group, because it is not needed here. Well, it is because it's needed. I'm struggling with this part. This is the part that just makes me sick. This is the part that makes me crazy. I just said you don't need it here. You don't, but you do, because it exists. The mere fact that Genie Plus and Lightning Lane exists creates the need for it. If it didn't exist at all, you wouldn't need it at all. It would be a zip through attraction, 20 minutes tops. But because Genie Plus exists, because Lightning Lane exists, well, thank you very much. Thank you. So they've created the problem that it supposes to fix. That's diabolical. That's sick. It's just, the only reason why you need it is because the software. Oh my God, I can't even get onto it. We're right next to our next topic of conversation, the Hyperion Theater. Rogers the Musical just ended its run on August 31st, on, what was that, last Thursday? And we have no news about what's going to happen, if they're going to do anything at all with the Hyperion Theater in its absence. All we got is this cryptic marquee that says, that's the thing about endings, they can be rewritten. A lot of discourse on what that means. It's funny, I put a post or a tweet about this the other day, and I asked people their thoughts, and because I feel like it means something. It's got to mean something. They wouldn't put it up there if they didn't want to give some kind of message. So what the message is, I don't know. But there are a lot of suggestions, but people are attributing it to many different things that it's said in the actual show, in the Rogers the Musical show. I've seen people say it's quoted in Frozen, that it's quoted in Loki, and I feel like there was another one. Well, or that they referenced the fact that that's what Rogers did, Captain America did at the end of Endgame, where he decides to change his future, whatever, when he goes back and grows old. I digress. All of that is up for debate. The question is, what's going to happen here? Because I cannot believe that they would go through all this trouble and expense to put on Rogers the Musical for just this limited engagement and have nothing else to do with it after that. So there's got to be some kind of future for this show and for this theater. Comment. Let me know what you guys think. What is the future of the Hyperion Theater? Are they going to bring this show back for another run? Are they going to try to, let it rest during the holiday season when they don't necessarily need a show in there, even though I disagree with that? All right. Do they have another show, another limited engagement like Encanto or something to that effect? Or, is it just going to stay vacant? Oh, what about Aladdin? Heck, they've already got the sets, right? Bring back Aladdin. The only thing about any and all of those possibilities is that Rogers the Musical was the one thing that they could put in this space, in the Hyperion Theater, in this space that actually works thematically. Marvel and all that, Avengers Campus, then you've got a Captain America show here, of course, and then it does segue as a Broadway show, as a themed show that belongs in Hollywood. Also, there is no other show that they could put on here that could serve both masters. Hi guys, how are you? You could put Encanto in here and it would work as a stage show, a Broadway show, obviously, for Hollywood. Hey guys, but it doesn't work at all next to the Mission Breakout, right? By the way, right now, it is today, right now, it's actually Mission Breakout still. But you come back here at 3 o'clock and it'll be Monsters After Dark, which is outstanding. I love Monsters After Dark. We got to come back and ride that. You might want to stay tuned. We have another channel. It's called Theme Park POV Pros. I'll be doing a full tour of everything that is Halloween on that channel. I might even be shooting some of that today. Actually, we're gonna stop real quick. Look at the queue. 50 minutes right now, standby for Mission Breakout, which is not altogether bad. I don't see but a few people in the Lightning Lane queue. Looks pretty sparse there. But the standby queue is getting a little lengthy. You don't normally see, well, I mean, non-holiday season that is, you don't normally see guests out here in the overflow area. That it normally just fills up that space. So 50 minutes is short considering the size of that standby queue, but that could be a factor of the fact that people aren't getting or aren't using Lightning Lane yet. And we'll be including a ride-through of Monsters After Dark in that video. I'll put a link in the description, but yeah, give us a follow on Theme Park POV Pros if you want to see some content from the parks that isn't filled with me just, you know, talking all day, that it's actually just a nice, pleasant stroll through your favorite parts of the Disneyland Resort. This feels busy, you guys. This feels a little busy. Takes me back.
Everybody.
That was an observation that I made when we were here on Friday night, that, you know, the crowd levels reminded me of how things used to be. But again, I don't think that it's going to stick. I don't think it's going to be a permanent thing. I think people are just showing up for the initial part of the Halloween season, and that we'll see a return to normalcy after a couple of weeks. That's my prediction anyway, because I have not seen anything happening at Disneyland to suggest that there's any sort of change in the tide. Certainly people aren't more satisfied with the Disneyland Resort than they were you know, a month or two ago. Certainly the reservation system still exists. Certainly Genie Plus and Lightning Lane still exists. So the issues that are, you know, causing people to stay away still exist. So I don't expect, I mean, there's going to be, like I said, the locals showing up, but after that, after they get their visits in, they were holding out. So many of the guests, I believe, one could theorize that they were holding out. They weren't coming to the park in August or July because they wanted to save their visit for a bigger event, let's say the beginning of the Halloween season. We'll pull over also real quick at Web Slingers, which is sporting a 40-minute standby, which again makes me curious how it's possible that this attraction, which presumably should be more popular than Monsters Inc., and yet it has a shorter standby queue. We were here last week and we didn't see anybody in this, or last month, and didn't see anybody here in this part of the queue, which again suggests that perhaps people aren't using Lightning Lane. That's pretty light for Lightning Lane right there. If there's ever a place where I would say, hey, go ahead and get Genie Plus, it would be if you're planning on trying to hit a bunch of attractions at DCA, because it wreaks havoc. Lightning Lane does on standby here at DCA specifically. And these attractions, very few of them are enjoyable to spend time in. Whereas, you know, at Disneyland, you get much more enjoyable queues, so it's not so bad doing standby in those. But that, you can't say that about most of the attractions here at California Adventure. This is the point as we exit Avengers Campus out into the parade corridor, where I get another observation and another sense of feeling of how the crowds are, and this does feel pretty active. It's not quite food and wine levels, but it is, you know, there's a level of density here that is, you know, a tick above how things have been.
I like the vlog, man.
Oh, thank you guys. In July and August, especially folks coming in and out of Carsland. Hey guys, how are you? Let's do that. Let's go to Carsland, where Halloween is on. Did you guys watch our Halloween video? Our opening night from September 1st, Friday night? We had a great time, Liz and I. But it looks just as it always does, here at Radiator Springs Racers. Darn near forgot to check out Mater's Junkyard Jamboree, or the Graveyard Jamboree as it is right now. 25-minute standby. Let's take a peek. I mean, that's standard, right? It's just a little bit longer than usual. You just can't keep Mater down. No matter how hard you try, he's always going to be an easy ride, an easy wait. See, that's something that I haven't had to do for a while. I have not had to negotiate folks walking down Route 66, so I'm pleasantly pleased. I know it is odd to say, but I like the fact that people are here. It means that they're happy and enjoying themselves and are trying to take part in the magic and wonder that is the Disneyland Resort. Luigi's Rollicking Roasters has got its Skin Hunkin' Halloween. Are they still calling it that? I can't remember. They changed the music. They put some yellow and orange and brown flags up there. Yeah, that sounds pretty spooky. And you got Radiator Springs Racers. It was closed for about 10 days, reopened about a week ago. Sounds like they were, or it looks like they were resurfacing the roads here, because that looks new and dark gray and unblemished. Meanwhile, the wait, 80 minutes, so people haven't forgotten certainly about Radiator Springs Racers, 80-minute wait for standby. I don't see anybody in the single rider queue, so that's probably an option for most people today. I would hope they would enjoy Radiator Springs doing that. There you go. All right, but everything seems to be running as it should at Radiator Springs Racers, and that will segue us into one of the bigger stories this past week, is the opening of San Francisco, the official opening, the grand opening of the rethemed area, not quite a land, rethemed area, as we come around the corner from Radiator Springs. This queue that you're looking at right now, there's the back of a queue right there. That's to meet Baymax. This wait, as we observe it right now, is probably an hour, is my guess. That queue is waiting for about an hour to meet Baymax. Meanwhile, the place is popping in here. It's very, very crowded. We did a whole video from San Francisco earlier. I hope you guys checked that out. But we tried the new food at Aunt Cass Cafe, and we had a great time. Love the food, love the vibe here. I mean, it's an improvement, certainly, over Pacific Wharf. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying that they really reached the top of the bar with theming. They, being able to build it up from scratch or something like that, they could have done better. But, they tried to make something out of nothing here, because Pacific Wharf wasn't much here. There's not a lot to go on, work with at Pacific Wharf. So I feel like they did a pretty good job of things. Look at this queue. What are these guys doing? My goodness, is that just to go to Casino? Guys, get mobile order. Use mobile order, please. Don't use standby, because that's figure 2 minutes. I've measured this, 2 minutes per guest. So just count the bodies and then multiply that by 2, and that's how long you're going to have to wait in standby. Meanwhile, mobile order, you can just walk up there and get it. But you got to plan ahead a little bit. But I mean, it's a fair trade. I wouldn't want to wait in this queue. There's just no way. Forget it. All right, you guys want to feel a little pressure? Let's just walk this way. I enjoy this to an extent. I just like to know how things are. I want to be part of a scene, part of an experience, and know how it feels to be in a place. It's like why I like shopping on Black Friday. I'll go to the malls or the Best Buy or whatever on Black Friday. Not necessarily buy anything. I just want to be there. And so this is something that we haven't felt at Pacific Wharf in a long time. I love this right here. I love that. That looks great. Little Baymax paper lanterns, although I don't think they're actually paper, but they look great. Oh dear. Okay. Hi. Whew. That was intense. Not a lot of brakes out here in the parade corridor. By the way, on the left, running parallel with the fence over there next to the wharf, well, San Francisco, that's the queue for the Baymax sourdough bread thing. So again, look for, I would expect more than 2 minutes per person. That's more like 3 minutes per person is my guess. So probably 45 minutes at least to get your Baymax bread bowl. Or not bread bowl, but sourdough bread. Whew. What's happening out here today, man? I'm about ready to get some lunch, and I haven't been able to find a quiet place to sit down and eat yet. All the tables, all the chairs are taken, all the seating areas are occupied. Love to see it. Here we go. That's the wrong part. All right, as usual, not a lot of attractions here. We got to scroll through some stuff before we can find an attraction. Our first Goofy Sky School, holy heck. 70 minutes, I cannot wait to see what that looks like when we walk by. 70 minutes with a return time in 2 hours, which is, that's pretty long for Goofy Sky School, I gotta say. But man, can you imagine waiting 70 minutes for Goofy Sky School? I cannot. Meanwhile, Grizzly River Run is 30 minutes with a return time of an hour. I am so confused by this already. I am so confused by this state of things. It's warm. It's summer. Mission Breakout, 55. Have they sold out? Has everybody used their Fast Pass? Oh, you know what it is? They're going to close in an hour. That's right. They're going to close this in an hour and bring it back as Monsters After Dark. I wonder, did they not use... I wonder, I'll have to find out about that, if they let you use Genie Plus Lightning Lane for Monsters After Dark. That starts at 3 o'clock. Oh, well, there you go. I've just answered my question. I didn't even see it. I scrolled down just a little bit. Yes, it does work for Monsters After Dark. They're not doing standby yet because it's not 3 o'clock yet, but you can get a Fast Pass or Lightning Lane for $7.55, which is, by the way, forever for me. The Incredicoaster is at 30. That has gone down significantly. I predicted it was at least the 45 that it was, and now it's gone down. So they must have cycled through some guests. Lightning Lane, not a lot of Lightning Lane. That's what that is. There's only 3 p.m. return time there. Wilshire Whirlwind 25. No, thank you. Jesse's Walk Right On. Jumping Jellyfish 10 minutes. Little Mermaid 30 minutes. I would love to see what a 30-minute standby queue looks like at Little Mermaid. Luigi's Honkin' Halloween, 40 minutes. That's just brutal. At least it's a moderately enjoyable queue. At least it's that. Mater's is 15, always a bargain. Monsters Inc. 40 with a return time of an hour and a half. So moderate usage. Oh, well, let's finish this first. Pixar Pal around 45. It's grown since we walked by. Radiator Springs Racers has maintained its 80-minute standby, which we noted when we walked by there earlier. $2.55 return time for $18. I just don't... Okay, you know what? I'm not going to bother with that today. Silly Symphonies, 20 minutes. Soarin', near an hour with a return time of 2 hours. So, oh, I'm sorry. Toy Story, no standby. Why is that? It's not closed, or is it? That's interesting. I'm not sure what that means. Because usually when the attraction goes down, they don't offer Lightning Lane. Or maybe, or do I have it wrong? You know what? I'm not sure. Web Slingers, 50 minutes. Return time in almost 4 hours. Again, that's what I would consider to be incrementally more crowded. Not excessively so, not, OMG, get me out of here type levels of crowds, but certainly a percentage higher. 20%, 15, 20% more people in my frame just now than we've seen in previous months of our DCA report. Hopefully, again, I could try to do some comparisons to see just what that looks like, month to month. Still not too bad though at the Adorable Snowman. I'm so tempted. But no, I'm still watching. I'm still watching my sugars and my just basically what I eat, more water, things like that. I'm trying to find a place to have some lunch here in a second. Still watching. People ask, hey Dave, how do you manage your sugars when you're at Disneyland? And I'd say, well, I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm just trying to be better. But basically, the sugars that I eat at the park are the extent of it. I don't do that on top of other sugars I eat at home. I pretty much eliminate all that other stuff at home, and I eat pretty well at home for the most part. Oh boy. Okay. Single rider doesn't look too bad for Incredicoaster. I've certainly seen much worse than that. That's standby though. Oh, that's standby. Okay. Whew. see if we can't sneak our way in here, which is not easy. 45 minutes. 45 minutes for a credit coaster right now, single or standby, which is that's pretty high for a credit coaster, and also I feel like it's possible that it's more than that. It all depends on Lightning Lane. Hi, how are you? Which is no bargain. We sneak our way back here. Oh my gosh. I mean, there is quite a few guests getting on Lightning Lane here. So I would imagine that 45 minutes is probably all of that. I would love to do some recon on this, but we don't have time for that today. But I would love to know how real the queue that we're seeing today relates to 45 minutes, because I don't think that's right. That could actually be all of it or more. Hey, if you're looking for a break, jump on Jesse's Critter Carousel. That's always a walk-on. It says 5 minutes right now. I don't see anybody even in the standby. Toy Story Midway Mania is back up and running. It was down for a brief refurb. I have no idea what they did. Nothing guest facing. Probably just, you know, maintenance, maybe upgrading from Windows 98 or something like that. But looks to be running. Let's find out what the standby says. Posted says 65 minutes. Oh my God, can you just imagine waiting in Toy Story for 65 minutes? That's all standby. Or is that Lightning? Oh, sorry, I take that back. That's Lightning Lane right here. I was looking over here, but that turns right and into that section. So these guests right here are Lightning Lane. So there's a little bit of Lightning Lane. So the standby, the back of the standby queue is actually inside the covered portion, the interior extended queue for Toy Story. That's a brutal wait. 65 minutes for as short a queue as that is, comparatively speaking. That's a brutal wait in there. That is one of the more painful sit there, stand there and wait type situations because of Lightning Lane again. But at least you're indoors, and at least it's moderately themed. It's not as bad as things could be, like, I don't know, credit coaster. That's not a very enjoyable queue to wait in, I'll say that. Let's see if they've got Pixar Pal around right this time. Swinging Gondola is posted at 30, non-swinging 20. That looks kind of accurate, actually. Last month we saw the queue way out here, and it was posted at 20, which was laughable. You're doing pretty good if you can get around that corner at the back of the standby queue. Swing Gondola, that's not bad actually for swinging. This will often use up this whole ramp right here and come out into the common area as well, so not bad. Wow. I was wondering what we're going to get for Emotional Whirlwind. It says 20. It's down there in the lower. Stay away. Do not, unless your kids are desperate to ride Emotional Whirlwind, stay away from the queue when you see it down there. That's no good. It's just a pretty busy day here at the California Adventure. No doubt about it. Busier than I've seen it in quite a while, thanks to Halloween. Silly Symphony. Last month that was empty up there. This month it's full. Plus, up the stairs also. It says 20, by the way, the sign read 20. And more down here. That's definitely at least two rotations. Actually, let's take a U-turn real quick from our usual path. Hi guys. I want to see how things look over here at Paradise Garden. I'm expecting madness. I'm expecting no tables again, as we've seen in other locations. Very popular spot. Let's go mix it in. They're doing the Plaza de la Familia on the opposite side of the garden, which is bringing in a lot of guests, plus entertainment. But yeah, this is very, very busy in here. Hey, how are you? Very busy. You can hear right now, actually, they're doing the Coco celebration, musical celebration of the music of Coco, which they're not even letting us leave at this point. I can just see that right now. We'll walk over here to see the Plaza de la Familia for a second. I'm hoping to do a comprehensive walkthrough here soon of this whole area as part of a Halloween update that I was talking about doing for our other channel. Oh my God! Look at this over here. Another gargantuan standby queue at Paradise Garden Grill. Almost always when you walk by here, there's nobody waiting. Be a standby. You can walk right up to any of these tellers, but today, that's 20 guests or so. So you're looking at 2 minutes per guest, 40 minutes. Oh, here they come. The show's over. I forget what they call these. Oh, you get the Mariachi Divas here. But what are they? I don't know what they call these. They look like calacas, but I'm not sure if that's right or not. There's Miguel. Hola, Miguel. Good show today. There we go. That's so great. That's a really fun show. But now we can leave at least.
We going that way?
Wow. Look at that. That takes you back right there, right? That takes you back. Oh, that's right. We were supposed to look at Goofy Sky School. It was 70 minutes on the app when we looked. And it says 30? In your dreams. How did that go from 70 to 30? This is standby? No, that's oh my heavens. This queue sticking out of here is lightning lane. There's no way that 30 is gonna last. Oh my gosh, I don't even know where to go. Okay, so the back of the standby is right here. All this sticking out is lightning lane. And they're gonna try to sell you that for 30. People like to say that Disney likes to inflate the standby wait times in order to encourage you to get Genie Plus. Hey, how are you? The thought being, if you see that Goofy Sky School is 70 instead of 30, that's going to inspire you to want to get Genie Plus so you can skip that. But while I would agree that they're often wrong, the times, it's not because they're fudging it intentionally high, because that's obviously low, and we've seen that before lots of times. So they're often wrong, but not always in one specific direction. They could be wrong both ways. No way that that's 30. We saw 30 minutes for Little Mermaid on the tip board, and I walked by here earlier, and the queue was all down here. It was all through there. They were using every part of this out here. That was just, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes ago. It's amazing how things fluctuate. It's just so fragile. It's so fluid. Crowd levels on it. Just attraction by attraction. Each part of the park. Hi guys. Everything is so individual. Like right now, you look at the tip board, you say 30. Well, I'm not going on Little Mermaid. So what happens? What happens when people see 30 minutes for Little Mermaid? They stay away to the point where it gets like this, where you're literally just walking on. And then not long from now, the app will start saying 10 minutes. People start showing up. That's what happened back there at Goofy Sky School. That's what the problem is, that this thing is being run. It's too slow. It's not quick enough. It's not fast enough to keep up. People saw 70 for Goofy and they're like, no, forget it. There's no way. There's no way I'm going to Goofy for 70 minutes. No way I'm getting in that queue. So they stay away. They stay away until it gets to the point where it's 30. And now people are saying, oh, it's 30. Let's go. And then everybody shows up. And so now it's not 30 anymore either. Opposite. It's one of my top 10 hacks. Do the opposite. Watch for the opposite. You're not going to be right all the time, but you're going to be more right than you are if you try to follow the tip board strictly. Winding things down here a bit. Head over to Grizzly Trail, or whatever they call this. Wow. Well, I keep saying that today, right? The narrative has not changed. This is one of those rare occasions. Normally when I do these reports, their narrative changes throughout the day. busy, slow, surprised, not surprised, etc. This has just been very consistent. The wows have been consistent. I don't understand why Grizzly River Run was 30 minutes on the app, so watch. Will it have caught up? Will Grizzly still be at 30 minutes when we get there? I mean, if I had to place a bet, I would say that it wouldn't be. Like I said, you're not going to be right every single time, but you're going to be right more often than you would be if you followed the tip board strictly speaking and said, okay, it's 30, I'm going to go there when it's 30. Most times it's going to be too late. Can't wait. Just a couple more days and I'll be inside Redwood Creek enjoying Villains Grove in just a couple more days. Today is Sunday as I record this. I'll be there on Tuesday. Tuesday, opening night for Oogie Boogie Bash. By the way, it was operational when we walked by, so that's a good sign. It's been broken often when we come by here. All right, place your bets. Decent line up there for Lightning Lane. I can see the board from here. I don't know if you can, but it says 45 minutes. So it definitely has grown. Still light though for a warm day. Still pretty light, but 45 has grown. Let's walk around the backside real quick. See how accurate that 45 is. Now, I don't do a lot of recon at Grizzly River Run, so I have no idea how long the actual wait would be at certain, because I have benchmarks on a lot of attractions, mostly at Disneyland, but I have established benchmarks for a lot of attractions to say, if you're at this point, you should expect to wait this long. I will say this, the fact that there's a switchback out here and not just a single row, that's not a good sign. That is not good at all. Things are getting noisy here. And it is using all of the rear queue back there. I mean, I would be shocked if all these guests got in there in 45 minutes. I would be shocked. But I bet it's worth it. You know, the cool thing about this is that unlike other attractions that you have to wait for a long time, 45 minutes, an hour, 80 minutes, you do get a lot of show for that time. You get a lot of enjoyment. You get wet, you know, you get really wet. A couple of times you're going to get soaked. The ride takes a while. It's a good, 8 or 10 minute attraction, I think. I don't know. I haven't timed it. But it's also fun. There's a lot of adventure, a lot of thrills. It's a great, great ride when it comes to getting, value out of your time. I just wish they would bring back the Kaiser right here, this one right there. They haven't brought that one back. That's the only one that's running right now. Has been that way for a little while. Yeah, I don't think that's 45 minutes. One of these days I'm gonna have to come down here with my notebook and just plot some benchmarks. That's a video for another day. Which reminds me, or brings me up to there's, I don't want to say changes coming to the channel, but I'm narrowing the array of videos that I put up on Fresh Baked. And there are going to be some videos that are going to go on different channels, I think. Refine the recipe, if you will. I'm trying to decide if I want to put recon type videos where, like measuring rope drops and measuring wait times and things like that on a completely separate, like a Disney science type channel. Let me know your thoughts. I'm sure a lot of you are going to say, yeah, that's great, and other people are going to say, no, I'd rather have everything here on the one stop, but I'd like to hear your thoughts anyway on that. Taking a quick look to see if I see Francisco. We have not seen Francisco in many a visit. If you guys know anything, about Francisco or Snickers. But it's been months, and we come by here. I come by here at least once a week to check, and so does Liz. But I have not seen him in a while. Normally you don't go more than a couple visits without seeing him. Which brings us to Grizzly Peak Airfield. Look at that, majestic. Perfect, thank you. I'm so glad to have them. I can't tell you how much I missed the monorail. Every time I see it, I'm just like, oh, thank you. I have missed the monorail so much. We just did a construction video where we got some footage from the monorail. It was great. Liz shot the new downtown Disney station and everything. It was fantastic. So happy for that to be back. Makes me happy. The monorail makes me happy. There's a fat queue sticking out over here too. My goodness. That's Lightning Lane. That big old line, almost always, you see a big old line, almost always it's Lightning Lane. And that's what that is. I cannot wait to see what the standby says. Hey guys, how are you? And you probably can't see it, but I can. That board over there says 80 minutes, and the whole standby is just this right here. That's it. That's all the standby. So I'm back to saying wow again. This feels like maybe more than 15 or 20%. Okay, here comes the Lightning Lane. It has grown. Hey guys, how are you? Good. It has grown quite a bit in the few minutes that we spent inside the queue there. My goodness. It creates the very problem that it advertises to fix. There would be no problem to fix by using Genie Plus if Genie Plus didn't exist. This is why I resist. There are days when I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll use it, maybe I don't. And there are times when I say to people, I mean, it works. You do get a break from long queues. It is beneficial to you if you buy it, but it's why I resist. In general, it's why I try to encourage people not to use it, because it's just sick, man. Anyway, that's our update, you guys, from California Adventure, our State of DCA report today. Welcome to the Halloween season. That is not sick. I love the Halloween season at Disneyland. I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. Follow us, subscribe to our channel for more like this. Follow us on Instagram at _FreshBaked, on Twitter at FreshBakedDisney, that's fresh with no E, and on TikTok at FreshBakedDisney. If you like our show and want to show you support, please do consider